Hello everyone, men and women, boys and girls. I have fantastic news. Unreal Tournament is finally back. Old Unreal and Internet Archive has finally restored UT 2004 with well, Evo Epic so-called blessing. In any case, this is another good reparative act epic. Thus far, all three of the most important games have been restored and archived. Unreal Gold, Unreal Tournament, and Unreal Tournament 2004. That's the most important games of the entire Unreal game franchise and the modding world. You have done just the bare minimum for your gaming audience to tolerate you. You still have the secondary games to restore in order to re-earn their full, or at least majority respect/tolerance of your currently awful and horrible existence. At best, that just only cleans your anti-gamer actions. You still have to make reparations for the game developers you've wronged and critically forsaken and disrespected, myself included. For status. Restore us back the UDK and Unreal game mods history you stole away from us so we can archive it already. Also, provide a system to help freelancers reliant on your engine tech. Cutbait, don't pay us, steal our work, and run. Scam. Until that happens, my overall respect for you as a company is still riding high above the skies of Evo Epic. Now let's focus on the game itself. I probably don't need to explain why UT 2004 is fantastic. Many videos exist on that by now and explain the importance of this legacy game. Instead, I just want to explain why I care for it, and how it benefits me as a gamer, modder, game developer, and perhaps someday, mod developer. I grew up with the Unreal franchise as a child, granted it was mostly through Unreal 2 and Unreal Gold, but there was something still special about UT 2004. While I still don't care as much about 2004 as I did with the original UT from 1999, even I can admit there are a slew of special and fun features that just don't exist in UT1, or at least they did not exist until later mods were created to rectify that. The best thing about UT 2004 that addicted me to this game were three game modes: Assault, Onslaught, and Invasion. Let's start with Assault. It is just hands down the best feature to ever exist in the Unreal game world. The Assault mode was much different from the one in Unreal Tournament. It was not just your average attack and defense sequence among teams, it was also a series of special events within the game, including ship battles. The bloody ship battles always made me excited as a preteen and still continue to do so when I became a teenager. At the time of its release, I don't think there were much if any games as fun as the Assault mode in UT 2K4. Onslaught. All-out war, usually known as Conquest or something, was usually my most favorite feature in video games, especially shooters. Didn't even have to be military cookie cutters. The Warlock game mode in UT 2K4 offered more than I typically expect from a Battlefield clone game in the aughts. Each map has its own unique flair to the oxymoronic feeling of relaxing yet tense game of war. Invasion. This game mode felt like a revisiting comeback to Unreal. A game of survival against monsters from the original game all out to get you. The Scar, Crawl, Gasbag, Puppy, Warlord, and more. To topple it, this mode even supports allied bots to help me slay them all. That was arguably new in the entire Unreal game franchise in regards to a bot-based co-op experience. Not even Unreal Gold ever featured bots in co-op mode in its vanilla version. That was temporarily included as part of the old Unreal update before it was later scrapped again, for unknown reasons. Unreal Tournament never had an invasion game mode or any mode involving monsters. It had leftover scripts of Unreal's monsters along with remnant single-player scripts, hence allowing for Unreal-like SP mods in UT, like Operation Poly. The only authentic single-player/cooperative experience featuring any allied AI-controlled characters up to the point of UT 2004 was Unreal 2, The Awakening, and they were NPCs in campaign mode, not the computer-controlled player substitutes we now know today as bots. So that is what hit home for me with Invasion in UT 2004. But why stop there? Once I learned about modding and later discovered there was a huge modding community and culture behind UT 2004, and all PC released Unreal games by extension, I was more than just ecstatic. I felt like I was living in the dreamland. I found a numerous cadre of SP mods and many more MP mods for this game. Out of Hell especially comes to mind with their zombie apocalypse adventure nightmare game. Old School Monster Tools, OSMT, is another wonderful mod that reintroduces complex monster AI and includes the OSM adventure game type, allowing players to engage in progressive, objective-based campaigns with puzzles and traps, and I think this is partly how those co-op RPG servers function online. Too bad the website for Unreal Playground no longer exists. Just another reminder of better lost time. How did this benefit me as a game dev? During my time as a game developer in the 2010s, I'd studied the gameplay and script and learned how they function within Unreal Engine logic and Unreal Script lexicon. From there, I'd utilize this knowledge to best write my own blueprint scripts for multiplayer arena shooter features during the development of Corina. I'd also use UT2K4 and Unreal Tournament to analyze other specific code or script matters such as client and server travel, and learn how to write source code that will properly transition players on the server to the next map without being auto-kicked by the server due to loss of sync in connectivity, something that was surprisingly and disappointingly absent in UE4's source code. For whatever that was even worth. The game ultimately went nowhere by the time of its release, even as a game made entirely for free. Even beyond the likes of Unreal Engine or the cesspit Epic Engine, UT 2004's formula can be a great template to make MP games in general. I'd like to see some games made with rework based on UT 2004 for a change. That would really be a treat for the legacy of gaming, and one that neither Evo Epic nor the other slimeball companies in the AAA scene of the gaming industry can touch, so long as the dev is not stupid enough to sell themselves. Finally, how could this benefit me as a mod dev? While I have zero interest in modding for other games now, I did always had interest in modding UT 2004, and any Unreal game for that matter, and I even had tried my hand at modifying this game before. It was a mixed bag. I also got way over my head with the OSMT, trying to create some epic single-player or cooperative adventure. I also was not yet skillful with Unreal Engine development at all. This all happened in the late 2000s after all, before UDK ever released. Regardless, it was fun to try nonetheless. Now, nearly 2 decades later, I understand UE2 logic much greater than I did in 2007 or even 2009, and I want to put that to great use someday with at least one SP mod of my own, if and whenever that time ever comes. Perhaps someday. I would think about it. That is all I have to discuss in this video. State your feedback in the comments. Let me know your thoughts about Unreal Tournament 2004, Old Unreal and their invaluable efforts to preserving our most important gaming history, or if you know any other websites that host Unreal mods. Any website that is not that imposter Slopfest ModDB or that woke Slopfest Nexus mods. May Unreal game live on forever, both in our hearts and on the plane of existence, well beyond the lifespan of Evil Epic.